life can be difficult and okay at the same time. If you're a coach, healer, hypnotist, entrepreneur, you're going to want to listen to this podcast, because today I'm going to be sharing my personal story of what's been going on behind the scenes in hopes to help you find something useful in this experience to help you propel your business in the direction that you desire. I'm Lynn Louise, the Cosmic Valkyrie. Today's podcast is going to be a little longer than usual because I have a lot to catch up on, and I want to share my own personal experience to give you an idea of how things can be really hard and challenging, but okay at the same time. Because there's been a lot going on in my life. So hang in there and you're going to hear some insights and gain a deeper understanding of how you can prioritize other events and people in your life while still building a business. Because when things get hard, business building does not stop. We just shift our attention and priorities in much different ways. So every summer for the past 5 years, my mother would come for a visit. She's 87 years old now, and this summer she came for a 2.5-month visit. During her time with us, she had an episode that made all of us understand that it was time for her to get 24-hour care. And she always knew that my husband and I were up for it, that if any time she wanted to move in, she could. But that time had to be this year. Now, when we first decided this, we made the decision that this was going to be a nice, smooth process so that she didn't feel rushed. So we had already purchased her ticket to go home for the summer. And then I was going to fly out the middle of November and help her wrap up her packing and then bring her back to New York with us because she's been living in her own apartment for many years. We wanted this to be a very smooth transition. Now, what I want you to know is that my sister and I have been estranged for decades, okay? Don't feel sorry for me. It was for the best. But my sister and I have not spoken in probably 30 years. It's perfectly fine. Don't feel sorry for me. Now, the thing that I should mention is that because of all the development and the journey of self-awareness and all that, I have become neutral in my feelings towards my sister. I love humanity, but I don't have to be friends with everyone. And that's kind of how I feel about this. I love her as a human, but I do not like her. And we do not meld well together. I should also let you know that my sister does not feel the same way. My sister hates me, despises me, and so does her family. And I'm 100% okay with that. I'm telling you this because this plays a huge part in the journey that I've been on for the past few weeks with my mother. Because my sister and her youngest son, which is an adult in his 40s, and his sons, which are my mother's great-grandchildren, live in the same town that my sister does, which is the same town that my mother had her apartment in. A population of 100 people in the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. Now, when we made this decision for my mother to move out with us, I noticed that she was really reluctant to call and tell my sister. She was nervous and afraid. But eventually, she picked up the phone and called both my nephew and my sister and informed them that she was going to be moving in with my husband and I to have a better quality of life from here on out. Things went exactly as she expected, but I'm going to tell you, it took me totally off guard. They were not pleased, and they started taking their hatred and anger of me out on my mother. It became incredibly vile. And I want you to know about this because we can't control the way other people act or feel, but we can control our own actions. But also I want you to know that in times like this, it is really easy to become overwhelmed and detached from your cosmic self because you're living in the moments and your physical brain is being triggered. So sometimes that overwhelm can take you in and out of awareness of who you truly are. And I had that exact experience. I really want to share this story with you because so many people perceive that once you have the multiple six-figure business and you're doing well, that life is all puppies and rainbows. And I want you to know that we are all in this human experience together and it can get hard. But I also want you to know that it can be okay at the same time. And you can be joyous at the same time. We are very complex human beings with complex emotions. So while my sister and her sons were taking all their anger out on my mother that should have been directed at me, I was upset and overwhelmed with the reaction, but I still maintained hope, joy, and acceptance. I knew what my ultimate goal was, and that was to get my mother here safely and with as much ease as possible. And I was not going to deter from that goal. That meant that I needed to pull on all the experiences and my own evolution 10x method to really get through this with as much ease and flow as possible. Because I knew after those interactions with my mother, things had changed. And no longer was this easy, smooth move going to happen over the course of a couple months. It had now shifted to a couple of weeks. Because I no longer felt that my mother was safe going there alone. And my nephew had already made a point to tell her that he wasn't going to pick her up at the airport. So I got to work. I scheduled a flight along with hers. We rented a car. We drove 2.5 hours to her apartment and we got busy. And I just want to put your mind at ease. We did not see or hear from that side of my family while we were there. Even in a town of a population 100 where we drove by my sister's house, we did not see my sister or her children. So rest assured, that was a good thing. What I want you to understand here is all of this stuff going on in my personal life did not affect my business. I was still able to grow and maintain my business through shifting my priorities to helping my mother get to Central New York and settled in. And while she isn't completely settled in yet, she did have the opportunity to start making her bedroom, which is our master bedroom, her own little ensuite. We blew into town. I busted out packing up her apartment, and we were able to get back to our home within 5 days. Was it hard? Hell yes. It was so hard. It was emotional. It was tumultuous. It was a lot of the lower emotional spectrum. But here's the thing. I live by an internal default system that is, air quote, I am happy all the time no matter what, end quote. I want you to hear that again. I am happy all the time no matter what. So even while I can be experiencing unexpected turmoil in other areas of my life that shift my priorities and my focus, it doesn't have to shift my emotions because we can experience sadness and joy at the same time. But we have been taught this very myopic view of what we are capable of. And one of the areas in our life is our capability of experiencing more emotions than just one. Many women have this perception that when they're sad, they're sad. When they're happy, they're happy. But the truth is, that's not how we work. We are luminous beings having a human experience. But this human experience is even complex. We are not just one thing in this physical tonal. A tonal is our human body. We have capabilities beyond what you have been taught in your life. So what I see most often is that women get sidetracked in their business and they put it on hold. You know what I'm talking about. You've probably said it to yourself. I'm going to put my business on hold for a while. You cannot stop growing your business or working your business just because something comes up. Putting your business on hold is an employee mindset. We do not operate from employee mindset when operating our business. Because what we do in our business is not representational of the results that we desire and the goals that we set in our business. It does not operate the same way as clocking into a job, a 9 to 5. When we have the proper strategies and operations set into place behind the scenes and the proper brain set, we are able to maintain and grow our business through anything, tumultuous times or joyous times. So while things got difficult over the past 3 weeks, I was still able to maintain my business growth because I have the structures and mindset in place to enable that to happen. This all starts on the inside with a paradigm shift in what you are capable of. You, as a person, what you are capable of, how the world operates for you. I did not hesitate in any way to restructure my schedule to accommodate my mother's needs because that became my priority. But that didn't mean that I didn't have structure in place to maintain my business at the same time. And I'm going to tell you, implementing those structures starts on the inside with the power of your mind. You have to believe on a core level that you are capable of achieving anything that you desire. And before you tell yourself that you already believe this, you might understand it, but until you can demonstrate it in your business, you do not know it on a core level. That's where a lot of women get kinked. They think that they already know it, so they don't pursue it. But you don't know it until you can demonstrate it in your business. So if your business is not making what you want it to make or creating that financial freedom that you desire and the time freedom that you desire, then you do not know what you are capable of on a core level. I know that I am capable of creating anything that I desire in this lifetime. And I am consistently making paradigm shifts within my internal physical brain to back that up. I have the method. That's the E10X method. But we are never there completely because there's always going to be something more that we want. There's always going to be something different coming into our life that needs to change and adjust in order for us to keep going and accommodating that big vision that we have for our life. So I too have a big vision for my life and business. So for me to achieve it, I need to continually be growing and evolving on the inside. And I do that through my Evolution 10X method that incorporates brain science, cosmic law, and strategy. And the plans didn't change short term because I am committed to helping my mother for the rest of her life through caretaking and living with us. So this is a big dynamic shift. I am going to have to continue doing this work for the rest of her life and the rest of my life. But I've known that for over a decade. That there is never an end to our personal evolution in this lifetime. I want you to know that your only dharma in this life is your personal evolution, because when you focus on that, everything else in your life falls into place. When you change who you are on the inside, everything changes in your life. And that change is the only thing constant in your life. So while things can get hairy, they can also be okay at the same time. I always tell myself and my clients, everything is and always will be okay. I can tell you that most of us have already lived out the hardest part in our life. And I say that with confidence because you have been on a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment for a long time. Before that, it was really hard. And when we look out at our future and see hard times, we know that we can already overcome them, whether it's losing a person we love or even a physical illness. We know that everything is and always will be okay. And when you know that on a core level, you can demonstrate it in your external circumstances, even when shit hits the fan. And that's exactly what I did the past week when moving my mother 1,500 miles to her new home. You don't have to go through this alone, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, you can't do it alone. I have support by mentors, friends, family. The most important support I have is my mentor, because she is able to shine into my shadows objectively so that I can see with true transparency what I need to let go of and what needs to shift. My husband and family can't do that, and my friends can't either, because they can't look at things objectively because they care about us so much. And that is what I do for my clients. I want to invite you to do a call with me to find out if working with me is your next step in your personal evolution. Because right now, I have 2 openings for one-on-one clients. We can find out if you are ready to take your evolution to a new level and create the success in your life and business that you desire. Working with me is not surface level. If you've been listening to me for any time, you know that I dive deep. And I want to give you the opportunity, if you are ready and committed, to work with me one-on-one. Now, these spaces don't stay open for long. They fill up really quickly. So I'm going to put a link in the description here for you to set up a call quickly. So I hope to see you on a call.